Hey there guys, this is Caitlin here and welcome to the penultimate Legacy Lost spoiler articles that we're going to be looking at. For these ones, it's kind of weird. It's like they're all dark, but for the most part, they seem to actually be supporting not Valentina and not Cube, but they're, not Cube I should say, but they're actually supporting I would believe Mikage and sort of Rezard a little bit, because they're basically all vampires that got revealed today, which was really, really weird. I mean, I was kind of happy that vampires got a bit more support, because I hate when, like, say, they create an archetype or whatever in a card game, and they only, like, make support of it for one set, so they can only ever play, like, a set list or whatever. There's not a lot of variety, so I'm kind of glad that vampires are getting a bit more support. A bit odd that they're only revealing them now, and that these guys weren't at least included in, like, the card set of the first Blackest cluster set, but you know what, I guess we're going to take what we can take. So first up we have Yasha, the first daughter of the Mikage, the dreaded first daughter that was being hyped up whatever by Gil, Lapis and Mikage as to be the most powerful of the Mikage's children, or the most powerful daughter of the Mikage as far as we know. She's a very lovely looking lady by the look of it here. She's got very big hair by the look of it. She is a 3-drop for 2 dark and 1 void, a 700/800. When she enters your field, we move all 100/100 counters from other J/Resonators to this card, and you can pay 1 and remove a 100/100 counter from her and put 2 100/100 counters on another target vampire you control. So basically, the idea with these spoilers is spreading about counters or whatever onto, like, you could spread them out onto other J-Resonators, which includes your opponent's J-Resonators, and then you can put them onto Yashahime, or you can destroy them. It's actually kind of a good idea because this would be a very good answer to Millium and Force decks. Obviously, the Force decks who are ones that are getting counters from rolls and such, so it could actually move counters from there onto Yashahime, which would be incredible, because it just says from all other J/Resonators. It doesn't say all yours, it just says all other. So I am assuming that means your opponent as well. So going on, we have Kumamaru, I think it says, yes, at the bottom it says Kumamaru, who is a 2-drop, 700/700 for 2-drop. When this card enters your field, you put 2 target 100/100 counters on target Resonator your opponent controls. This is actually one of the guys that was revealed in the trailer for Legacy Lost. Kind of weird how he's just like a standard Resonator. I kind of thought that maybe he would have a bit more importance, because he was like a pretty cool looking guy, but I guess he's just one of Yashahime's servants or something like that, because she's commanding him by the looks of it. And then I want to say that maybe this guy here, Yashamaru, is maybe his brother, or like his twin older brother or something like that, because they have very similar names, and their effects kind of go out with each other, because the other guy sets them up and then Yashamaru finishes them. So he's a 1-drop, he's a 300/300 darkness vampire as well. When he enters the field, we destroy target Resonator your opponent controls with 1 or more 100/100 counters on it. So ideally you could play the other guy first, put the counter on them, and then you could play this guy and then destroy them. Or, you know, you could make sure you could destroy something that your opponent has used force on, things like that. Next up, we have Dimension Dragon Natok, and he's actually a 12 Apostle. So apparently we're not done with 12 Apostle cards. I think the explanation for this was that some 12 Apostles were obviously destroyed, and some of them were either they absconded from working under Gil. So obviously Alisaris, I believe, was a 12 Apostle at one point. He died. Valentina has GTFO'd, no longer working with Gil, so we can't use him. And and we don't really know what happened to the other 12 Apostles that he was controlling, so potentially Gil needs to create some new ones. So it is a 6 cost, it's 3 dark and 3 void, a 12/12 flying. When it enters the field, we remove all Resonators your opponent controls with the lowest total cost among Resonators your opponent controls from the game. That is very awkwardly worded, but from what I understand from the wording of that is that, say your opponent has, I'm going to make an assumption, say they're running a fairy deck and they have like a load of 1-drop fairies. Since they are the lowest Resonator that they'll probably control, because there's not really any Resonators that cost 0, basically when the dragon enters, you remove all of those from the game. So bye-bye to all the 1-drop fairies. That's my understanding of it anyway. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, then feel free to correct me down below, but I believe that's the explanation for this card. And at the bottom it says, the end finally comes to the land of beginnings, Gil Lapis. So I wonder what he's talking about, the land of beginnings. Is he talking about Altia? Is he talking about Grimm's land? I'm not quite sure which world which land he's talking about, but I'm very curious to find out. Then we have Death at Midnight, which is a dark quick cast for 2. It's 1 dark and 1 void. And what it does is our opponent banishes a Resonator. We then put a 100 counter on each J/Resonator our opponent controls. And then this is actually kind of good for setting ups for Yashahime, because then if we had Yashahime on the before we what is it? What did she do again? I need to look. When she enters the field. So basically we want to play Death at Midnight first, and then we want to play Yashahime. That would be the best thing. So if our opponent has swarmed their field or whatever, we can just play this first. They have to banish one, and then they have to put say they've got 7, put a counter on each of them, and then we play Yashahime, and then literally we steal all those counters, which is amazing, which would be pretty fun. And then the last one, which I think is the most depressing card I've ever read, is Alhamat's Black Lightning. The Black Lightning easily passed through Feasting's barrier. We now know that Alhamat is the guy who kills Feasting. I mean, look at how tragic this card is. She's being blasted from the skies with black magic. Kaguya is she can do nothing but watch on as her mentor and her aunt, her adoptive parent, dies right in front of her. It's so depressing. It's a 2-drop. It cannot be cancelled. Destroy a target non-darkness Resonator. If this card was awakened, you put it into its owner's hand as it resolves. The awakening is 4. I'm not quite sure the reasoning behind putting the destroyed card into their hand. Surely you'd want to make sure that they couldn't recover the Resonator in the first place. You want to make sure it stays in the grave. You don't want them to be able to get it back. So I have no idea why you would ever want to awaken it. Unless it's saying that, unless they're saying that you put this card, the Black Lightning, back into your hand as it resolves, but I don't think that's how it works, but I'm very confused about that. But also the fact that this is black ancient magic, so obviously this could be played with mana cards, but we don't have any rulers yet that use black mana counters. So I'm thinking next set, whatever it is after Legacy Lost, we're going to get a black or a darkness luminary who will have black mana counters or whatever. So I'm thinking it'll either be Gil Lapis or it'll actually be Alhamat himself. I mean, there are supposed to be 7 luminaries and we've only seen 3 so far, so there's still at least another 4 to go. So we've still got a decent amount of catching up to do with these guys, but other than that, these are kind of interesting. I like the kind of gimmick with Yashahime. I think she's pretty cool. She synergizes well, I think, with her sisters and most likely her father. I think they synergize very, very well. It's kind of neat. I think more than likely she'd probably work best with the Mikage deck. I don't know if it would be really cool. I don't know if it would work if you'd splashed her into any other kind of darkness deck. I think she would work best with Mikage. Maybe even vampires, but I feel with the blood counter thing, you would basically want to run her with Mikage. I think that would be your best bet. So, guys, this is the second last Legacy Lost cluster spoilers that we're going to see. Tuesday, I believe, is going to be our very last one, and then I don't know what's going to be shown on Friday, because I believe pre-release is next weekend or next week, wherever you are. I know I'm definitely going to a pre-release next weekend. I think it's just the Sunday I'm going to, so I'll probably have a vlog up about that and to show you what my pulls were and how I played and things like that. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to fill up the time or whatever till the actual release. I think it's just a week in between. But until next time, guys, I will see you all later.